Good afternoon, gamers. I'm so sleepy. I'm so sleepy, but hello, Larry, Young Moon, Double Red, welcome. How are you all doing this fine Sunday afternoon? My voice stream. I mean, this is pretty much, I guess. Well, I woke up like 2 hours ago, but. Hello, friend, how are you? Hello, Fiera, welcome. I'm doing good, thank you. Kind of sleepy, but it's my own fault. The consequences of my actions. I just stayed up way later than I should have last night. I was really concerned. I was like, will I be able to wake up in time for this stream? Why did I make it 1 p.m. instead of the usual 6? But I made it, and we're here. Good morning. Hello, Vaneka, welcome. Good morning. Good afternoon. It's so early, yeah. Well, I was like, well, you know, since, the heart rate monitor is like reconnecting. Maybe it's because I'm slouching so much. Okay, I guess it just could not get a clear read, maybe. What was I saying? Oh. Yeah, I was thinking, you know, since it's Sunday, I was like, it would be nice if I had it earlier in the day rather than later, so that hopefully I wouldn't go to bed too late, you know, but we'll see how that works out. Yeah. The hardest part of the day is over. You're so right. Man, I was just playing Path to Nowhere, and somehow it became like 5 a.m. Yeah. And there was a bug in my room, and I was like, I don't want to deal with this. And then my cat kept on like hunting it and like playing with it, and that kept me up for a while too because she was so noisy. But I think she did actually kill it, so I guess that's better than like being stressed about it like jumping onto the bed while I'm sleeping or something and waking me up. That would be really terrible. I was concerned about that when I decided to just go to bed. I was at my desk, you know, and then I saw the bug and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go to sleep. I don't want to be awake anymore. And I was mildly worried. I was like, what if it like crawls onto the bed or something? Like, I would not be able to sleep in my room then. But the cat got it, so. Are saving your life? Yeah, I know, right? I loved her so much. What's your cat's name? I I keep saying this, but yeah. I kind of want to give her like a nickname to use on stream, but I don't know what that would be. But it's the younger cat out of the two cats I have. She's so baby, she's so cute. I love her so much. She's cleaning herself right now. But how have all of your days been? Or mornings? The mornings. Yeah, I work soon. Ah, I see. Good luck at work, young man. But I'm going if I woke up too late. Oof, it do be like that. Good one for a walk before the stream. Well, that sounds nice. I should go for walks more often. I mean, I guess I'm walking like a decent amount now, but leisurely walks sound nice. I just realized I forgot to turn this back on now. It's not karaoke anymore. Autumn, perfect time to hike, nice trees. You're right. The weather has been getting better these days also, which is nice. Imagine a nice walk and just get lost in the corn maze. Man, I can't believe Halloween's so soon. So exciting. Also, this was kind of random, but I've had like a bruise above my knee for the longest time, but it's finally like pretty much gone now. But I feel like it really looked like an avocado for a bit, you know, because it was like green with like purple dots. Like how like when you slice into an avocado when they're kind of starting to like get bad. 2 days until October. I know, right? I started to make like a tentative stream schedule for the upcoming week last night. I was like, man, how is it already October? That's so crazy. And here I was the other day accidentally thinking it was like June for a second. I needed to write something down in my planner, and then I like instinctively opened it up to June, and I was like, that's right. That feels right. And I was like, wait, no. It's the end of September. Bananas. I think I eat a decent amount of bananas. It's maybe a little bad, but it's like the only fruit I regularly eat, I think, bananas. Just because they're so easy. Like you just leave them out on the counter and then you just peel them. No need to cut or wash. How'd you manage to bruise yourself? I have no idea. I really don't know. I feel like I get a bunch of random bruises without really knowing where I got them, knowing or remembering. Yeah. Are you going to do anything for Halloween? I'm not sure. Well, we might, like, meet up with some friends, but nothing, like, big or anything. Back on New Year's resolutions soon? Oh yeah, we're like more than halfway through the year, huh? That's crazy. Every now and then I kind of have been like looking back on them. It's looking like a lot of the stuff won't be able to be achieved within the year, but I'll move them to next year. I guess I can take a quick look at them again right now. I can find them on my desktop. Oh, right there. The places I see, and then what do you feel when messages and challenge and do you get a notification on YouTube? I do not. I do not get notified for live chat messages. I do have notifications on for like comments though, on like videos or streams or whatever, but I feel like sometimes they don't actually notify me. But yeah, I don't think there's an option to get notified if someone chats in the live stream chat. Yeah, 2024 resolutions. Learn how to drive. I don't know if that's happening. Contacts. Well, I mean, I don't need them anymore. Jumpstart do cooking stream. I did do a cooking stream. Gym. I forgot I put that there. I did not start going to the gym. But I am getting exercise in these days, kind of just through walking, so finished Ring Fit story. I don't know if that's feasible. It seemed like there's a lot. Song cover. I don't know. Maybe. I'm so busy though. Maybe I can. Well, there's not much time left in the year. The animals never get noticed for comments? Yeah. Like, I don't know why it's so unreliable. We'll see. Jago is getting stronger. Alright, he's been working on his gains while I've been slacking off. Drago. ASMR video, ASMR stream. That's right. The one ASMR stream I tried to do. The internet was so bad, it just kept on cutting out. I think I can probably do ASMR stream at least by the end of the year. Song will take fail to clear level 20. I don't think that's happening by the end of this year. Maybe next year. Continue to draw plus more drawing streams. Well, I guess I can do that. I guess I have kind of been drawing. Not as much as I'd like. Well, no, I'm drawing a decent amount. I have been working on some things, but I may or may not actually post them, but Secret project, that's not happening by the end of this year. 3.0 model. Maybe. I was thinking, I think later today I'll get back to drawing it a bit. Now let me get through the rest of these resolutions first, but... Okay, so I'm finally getting a cozy drawing stream. Probably not next week, but maybe the week after. I think I'll have time. Attend the anime convention. I did kind of do that at like fairly early in the year. Compose song. I don't know if that's happening by the end of this year. Animate some stuff. I've not done that, but maybe by the end of this year. That seems feasible. But so what happened last time you played? So much stuff happened. I don't know how to summarize it. So the main character, he's been saying like he feels eyes on him, like a gaze, and so he's always said, whose eyes are those eyes? And we found out last time that it was actually the original Takumi, and that we are a delusionary existence that was created by him and brought to reality. And we obtained our D sword, our delusionary sword, along with a bunch of other characters. They also got their swords. Yeah. And now we are going to save the world, I guess. But the Takumi we know is mostly just doing it for Dimi because he's like, he realized he has feelings for her. Yeah. I'm trying to work out some more too, I struggle a lot with it. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. I think now that I have my Wii working again though, I may also just like play Just Dance more often now. Dancing is fun. But yeah, the slimes. I wonder how they're doing now. I wonder if they're disgusting. I haven't opened them like pretty much since the stream. So coughed off ASMR. I wanna do what was it again? It's like I mentioned at some point I liked watching those TikTok live streams where they have like a little thing filled with sand and they're like writing things in it with a wood stick. I find it very satisfying, so I kind of want to try doing that. But cool mechanic. You stop playing the game gets harder. Yeah, that would be cool. But also, I feel like it would just make me not want to open the game again if I like stopped playing for too long, you know? It's like the dread. But then it would only get worse. But no leaf it. I do have it. I don't know if the like Wii Fit board is still working though. I didn't try it out. That reminds me though. I loved the mini game in that way. It was like the rhythm when you like step on and you step off and then you like clap and stuff. Wow, 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 wow. That was fun. I remember being really bad at a lot of the games in it though. I guess no. No. Not the litter box. Have you been playing any Genshin lately? Well, last night I did finally do Imaginarium Theater. It's gonna be set in like 2 days. So I finally sat down and did it. And you know, I thought it was gonna take me a really long time or something, you know? Like, I don't know, like more than an hour, but it went by pretty fast. I decided not to like stress out about it too much, and it went fine. And it was fun. That chicken flapping one was hard. I don't think I remember that one. I remember there was like a hula hooping one. That one was fun. What else was there? Oh, there's like a tightrope walking one. I guess I mostly just remember the balance ones. But yeah, and then there was the was it like a skiing one too? It was like you had to like squat and then you had to like straighten your legs. I was really bad at that one. Just good balance. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think so. Maybe those games are just memorable to me because I was bad at them. And they were frustrating. I don't know. But also, I don't really remember it that much. But isn't Wii Fit like a little mean to you? I'm a little worried to see what it would say if I log in after a really long time. Like, I do not know the last time I logged into Wii Fit. Only if you let it be me. I don't know if I can control that. Can you? I don't think so. Okay, maybe I should actually start the game now. Maybe we've talked for long enough. Man. I wonder if I'll eventually become more awake. I was like, I wonder, after I'm done with stream, should I just take a nap? I think that's not a very good idea, but... Someone there's one game? Yeah, I would say no nightmares. None that I remember, at least. So that's been good. Yeah. I kinda wanna... Let me check something really quick. Not really related. But stream anything. Okay, no stream till say you so say I'll drive. I cannot drive yet. I think. Yeah. I think rather than being caught I think I would just get into an accident. Like, I just don't know how to drive at all. You know, I've realized, and I don't know if it's obvious, I think I greatly prefer like animated media over filmed media with like actors and actresses and stuff in the flesh. There's just something so fun about like animated movies and shows. I like them a lot. You don't talk about them. Well, I mean, there are some times where I do just immediately go into the game, but depends on my mood, I guess. If I feel like talking or not. Yeah, tries to follow the rules up to this as possible, so you should be decent at driving. Yeah, I am a by the book kind of person, but scary. I also, yeah, I don't really have a car of my own that I'd be able to use. I don't know what would happen with that. I mean, I could just get a license for now, I guess, but... Yeah, 8-year-old driver sits in her dog while the child was not in crash. I did not seen that, but that sounds absolutely ridiculous. That's crazy, actually. If you walk around driving just because I don't like driving. Imagine. What kind of car would you like? I don't know the names, types of cars. I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know. A bright pink pickup truck collected. That would be crazy. Are there bright pink pickup trucks that exist? I mean, I guess surely someone has like customized theirs. Bright pink pickup truck. Oh yeah. Yeah, they exist. What is this? Wait, huh? Is this real? What? Huh? Oh my gosh. This is a crazy looking car. Wait, let me send the link to the website. I like I like the title. I like the title of this. Actually, oh yeah, let me get the link. No, sadly no. I'm making you sick. Clint's Pepto Pink Frontier. Why is there like so little distance from like the bottom of the car and the wheels? I guess it's something they did when customizing it, but yeah, it does seem like, wait, I like in the last picture too, the license plate is like diagonal. it looks so interesting. It kind of looks like it'd be like water vehicle or something. You know? Like a car boat. Actually, cars that squat down and park and lift up when you turn it on. I feel like maybe I've seen that. Maybe. It's like one of my old car toys. That reminds me. When I was younger, we used to go to this like family friend's house every now and then the kids would all just kind of hang out together, right? But they had this like racetrack thing. And then I think they had a bunch of like the Hot Wheels cars. But so we would always race them on the track and see who won. Silly. I was never really into them myself though. Toy cars. Going down to the street. No! That reminds me though, one of the mini games in the Danganronpa games is like you're inside your mind, but it's like you have to get like you have to choose the right answer to the question. Like they'll ask you, based on like, you know, the case, and then you have to pick the right one. But like along the way, it's like you just try to hit as many pedestrians as you can. Silly. Guy looks kind of real car. Okay, underwater they could be invincible. Yeah, I guess so. Well, Yeah. Underwater's scary though. Oh, scary. Alright. I should actually get started now. No. I don't wanna. It's not the kind of scary I enjoy. Okay, let me actually start though, for real. Okay, continue. Load. That's right, Sua! I can't believe he betrayed us also. Sua and Hazuki-san. Can't believe it. Yeah, I guess another thing that happened last time was the detective, Bon. He got shot by his subordinate, Sua, who turned out to like be a follower of the Divine Church of Holy Light? ? I forgot the name of it, but yeah. Load this data.
Oh yeah,
and yeah, Senan calls over here. There is a large earthquake in Shibuya. And yeah. We were able to meet up with Nanami, Yua, Momose, and Ayase. And then now we came here because we're trying to get to Nozomi to save Nimi. And Senna's father knows where it is because he used to work for them, but now he's been shot by Sua, so yeah. The girl from Chat don't know who's planning to be your friend. Oh, that's Yua. So she obtained a D sword as well. And like, it seems like she and Takumi will be okay from now on. Yeah. Like, I think they kind of understand each other now. He smiled a flippant smile, one that was somewhat reminiscent of Detective Vaughn's. But there was one key difference. Detective Vaughn's smile had always been just an act meant to throw people off or rile them up. When it came to Sua, however, this sly smile was who he truly was. Oh yeah, Norose is the the main villain. The one who tortured Nimi and is behind Noah too and everything. Trying to take over the world and control people through their minds through radio waves and everything. But Sir heaved a sigh, shaking his head in an extremely exaggerated motion. Yeah.
だから刑事のくせに人を殺すなんて君には言われたくないっす
I gripped my D sword tightly.
あんたみたいなやつに敬語を使う義理なんてないよそんな舐めた口聞いていいんすか殺すぞ童貞野郎
Even from the distance, it was clear to see. The smile on Sua's face had disappeared. Without moving from where he was, he gestured with his free hand like he was trying to shake something off. Oh yeah, and Kozuki. She spoke out loud for the first time to us last time. Oh. Were we shot? Impact followed by pain. It was an all too abrupt sensation. Oh, when I looked at my shoulder in surprise, I saw a familiar looking cross pierced into it. No, it was no cross. It was a stake. Ooh! A cross-shaped stake from the crucifixion case. It had come at me too fast to see. The area was so dark, I hadn't even realized it was flying toward me until it had already hit me. Sura had thrown it. Without moving from his spot, he'd thrown it from that distance with pinpoint accuracy. I cautiously touched the stake. It felt cold and smooth. Was it a delusion, or was it real? The pain was growing more and more intense. I couldn't put any strength into my hand. I wasn't able to hold on to my D sword anymore. Skipping. And pronouns looks like someone like a me. So I raised his voice in an attempt to suppress his rage. And he just became so villainous so quickly. Not even a moment later, Sua was holding even more cross-shaped stakes in his hand. Doing his best to restrain his fierce rage that was on the verge of pouring out, he fired off the additional stakes toward Nishijo Takumi. Fun music though. They disregarded all form of drag and the laws of physics altogether. As if they possessed wills of their own, they sped intently toward Takumi's arms. 15 had found their mark. I was like, oh, that's a lot! Not a single one had missed. They had assaulted Takumi's shoulders, upper arms, wrists, palms, hips, thighs, knees, and shins. Blood spilled from every one of his deeply carved wounds. The music really does go hard though. Sua already had another stake in his hand, and once again he fired it off just like the others. I felt an incredibly strange sensation. He's probably not even listening to me anyway, Sua thought to himself. I guess we can see his perspective as well. Each and every wound carved into my body only made me feel more alive. So I hurled yet another stake toward Takumi, who hung his head at the mercy of his attacker. All of it could be attributed to the rucksack Sua was wearing on his back. A back housing a Noah 2 terminal within it. The man. With that, you could enjoy Noah 2's power even at a distance. He would become an artificial gigalomaniac. Sua found himself fully bewitched by its power. Sua was fully bewitched by its power. He was among the vanguard's fanatics, who would commit the dirtiest of deeds in the name of the founder and his teachings. But divine light. Sora hurled yet another stake. Penetrated the nape of my Takumi's neck. I was racked with extreme pain that felt as if my entire body was being torn in two. Pain so horrible, I felt as if I might go insane. The boiling, ruthless bloodlust simmering in Sua's heart demanded to know just how much pain the boy could endure. Swinging forth from the torture taking place, death began to rear its head. It would make death rear its head in him. I was unable to resist. Takumi was unable to resist. And well, he still managed to put enough force to his legs to stop himself from falling over. None of that could prevent the hail of stakes coming at him. My Takumi's chest, his stomach, his toes, his entire body. With no mercy in sight, stakes both thick and sharp were continually pounded into him.
虫ピンで標本にされた昆虫みたいだね。しかもカブトムシとか蝶とかさ。お前みたいなガキにはコガネムシあたりがいいね。
I, Takumi, could not stand for another second. Willpower alone was all that kept me from collapsing, so I was baffled at what could possibly be keeping him from collapsing. But I was almost at my limit, but I knew the boy was almost at his limit. The field of vision was becoming pixelated. It was hard to see anymore. With his eyes as empty as those, he likely could not see anymore. Pixelated, huh? Spending some insights and project everything and get this group right. See you, Dolores. Thank you for watching.
遺言があるならいいな。ただし
20 words or less. Tightly clutching the next stake, Zero was talking to me, as if he had already won. Next to kill me, him. He's not sounding so good.
傷ついたのか
Using his voice in the distance as a guide, I glared in Sua's direction. The light in Takumi's eyes was soon that I glared in Sua's direction all the same.
これが最後の一本。信仰の救いはお前にはやらねえよ
I could sense the air tearing around the stake that Sua had hurled. Sua hurled the stake he had been holding.
知ってる
Oh. The stake would serve as the cross, the messenger bringing both certain death and the promised gospel. Oh. Death would come to whomever it struck.
童貞の妄想力はすごいんだ
A dull thud resounded. Oh. Stake had deeply penetrated his forehead. An incredible burst of pain exploded within Sua, gushing forth from every part of his body. Ah, I see. As if it had been entirely an illusion, the intense pain that had consumed every part of my entire body immediately disappeared. Nani? It was all an illusion. Hello, G6, welcome. Sua let out a mute scream, writhing in agony. I let out a deep breath and slowly licked my dry lips. An array of cross-shaped stakes penetrated Sua's entire body. There was a single cross-shaped stake in my hand. When he looked upward, he saw the cross-shaped stake embedded in his forehead. When I looked upward, I saw the overcast, gloomy sky above.
復活の奇跡は物語で
Yes, hello.
妄想なんだ何をした妄想シンクロ
Assimilation unto a delusion, erosion unto the mind. Like two ripples negating one another, like two wavelengths resonating with one another. Entangling together, melting together. A fate which distorts, created by one. A fate which is distorted, created by another. Switching them out, switching them in. There's no way that's possible, Sua thought to himself. Sua's expression laid his thoughts bare.
神の先兵ならメシアと同じように朽ち果てろ
Let's read the tips real quick. The Hebrew word Mashiach, meaning the one anointed with oil. In Judaism and Christianity, the Messiah is the one who shall bring peace to the world. In Christianity, Jesus Christ is considered to have been the Messiah. Wait, let's save real quick also. Okay. Takumi-ai tossed the steak away. Color was quickly fading from Sua's field of vision. Light was quickly fading from Sua's eyes.
それと、僕は救いなんかいらないよ。
Sua could no longer reply. Without falling to the ground, he breathed his final breath. Alright, well, that's it for him, I guess. I made my way back into the station. Kozumi's eyes were wide and her mouth hung open. She was completely stunned. Seeing all that must have really surprised her. Her leg was covered in so much blood, it was hard to look at. Kozupi...
大丈夫
Without getting up from the ground, she nodded. It didn't look like she was able to stand on her own. Her shimmering eyes looked up at me.
匠さん、今、何が起きたの？
Kozupi, you're talking out loud. She's doing it.
本当だ。
Putting a finger to her lips, she tilted her head in surprise. But she seemed to forget about it pretty quickly after that.
童貞。
すごいよ
Senna once told me ignorance was a sin, but I don't quite agree with that. Not knowing things goes hand in hand with delusions. The less you know, the more your delusions can grow and surge, to the point of infinity, really. Therefore, if you already know and have experienced everything, there'd be nothing left to fantasize about. There's one thing virgins definitely lack, its experience, so it only makes sense that their delusions are the best around. Speaking of Senna, where was she? I searched the dimly lit platform for her. How are you doing, Senna? She was standing at the edge of the platform, hanging her head. At her feet.
畑野さ
Yeah, it was Hatanoise lying in a pool of his own blood. He showed no signs of moving, leading me to realize he was already dead. I was too late. If anyone was going to know where to find Noah too, it would have been him.
ノア2は渋谷駅のすぐ横にある。
Well, Senna knows. As if she read my mind, with her eyes still aiming down at Hatamo-san, at the corpse of her dead father. Senna began to murmur
この
something.
男が死ぬ間際に
Oh, I
渋谷
see.
駅の東口、ビルの屋上にある。今は閉鎖されたプラネタリウム。
Rooftop of an now defunct planetarium.
そこにノア2がある。
What happened to the guy? Which guy? Sua or her dad?
どうも
Yeah, I guess they're both dead, question mark. But with Sua, we switched places with him. We used the power of delusions. I wasn't sure if I should have said something to her or just stayed silent. She hated her father, enough to want him dead. And even though her wish had come true, from where I stood, she looked miserable as could be.
私をかばって。そ
You
れで
looking
罪を
at-
償
yeah,
った
that
つもり
was
か。
Sua. Her words were targeted at her father's lifeless corpse, but he said nothing in return, and he never would
お
again.
前は自分の罪を認めた。許せない。
セナさん、心が泣いてるの。本当はお父さん殺したくなかったのら。
It was just as Kozupi said, and with those words, Senna's usual resolute demeanor disappeared. Aww. Her shoulders trembled. Heartbroken, she fell to her knees.
どうして私を一人にするんだ。どうして
セナ
日常お願い。
Senna raised her head. The teary expression on her face just now was nothing like the stern one she always
ノ
wore.
ア2を壊して。
Suffering from a terrible grief, She spoke with the fragility of a girl who had just lost the only family she had left.
僕を殺そうとしたくせに
Takumi.
君のお願いなんて
It's
聞く
okay,
義理
we'll
は
destroy
ない
it.
よ
We will.
たくみさん。
Turning my back towards Sen and Kozupi, I began the march down the tunnel to Shibuya Station. Before me were two giant gaping holes. A deep darkness stretched deep inside both of them. Passing through them would be the quickest way to get to Shibuya
僕
Station.
は
Okay, I guess
僕
we're
の
just gonna
目
leave
的の
like
ため
that.
だけに
Oh,
ノア2を壊す絶対に
I had a feeling Senna said something after that, but I wasn't listening anymore. Okay, well, I guess that's how we're going. A single colossal device held the attention of two men, Inohana Kozo, a member of the House of Representatives, and Kuramochi Yudai, the founder of the Cosmic Church of the Divine Light. A Cosmic Church of the Divine Light. An ominous hum continually sounded from the device, from Noah too, beckoning a nod of satisfaction from the both of them.
5000人を殺すと言い出した時はどうなることかと思ったが
調整には随分と骨が折れたよ。特に300人委員会に感づかれないようにするのはね。
ご協力に感謝します。
Norase gave a very slight bow.
だがこれが完成した今5000人などちっぽけな数字でしかなくなった。
早くも影響が目に見えて出てきているよ。
Crazy thing
人
to say
々の
about
家畜化が始まっている。
human lives.
これでいよいよ我らが世界を手に入れる日も現実のものとなったわけだ。
Inohana and Kuramochi looked to one another, exchanging sinister smirks. Norase, meanwhile, simply gazed at them, his face not even so much as twitching.
しかしのろせよ。何のことでしょう。
Inohana smiled crudely, then gestured with his head toward the tableau erected near Noah too. Is it gonna be Nimi? What is a tableau, actually? I guess we'll
な
find
んと
out.
も芸術性にあふれるオブジェだ。ぜひわしにも一つ用意してもらいたいものだな。
素材ならば我が教団の信者の中からえりすぐりを提供してもよい。
倉持先生は気前がいい。
So it does involve a person, I guess.
餌ですよ。餌？
Oh, for Takumi?
ノア2をより完璧なものにするための。まあ、そういうことにしておく。
それよりノア2が具体的にどれほどのことができるのか実演してもらいたいところだね。
A group of models are motionless figures representing a scene from a story or from history. Apparently. According to Oxford Languages. Here's also from Merriam-Webster. 1. A graphic description or representation. Picture. 2. A striking or artistic grouping, arrangement, scene. 3. A depiction of a scene, usually presented on the stage by silent and motionless costumed participants. Okay. I see.
それはいい。早速やってみせた
I
まえ。
guess the second one applies most to this, but... Norase lightly shrugged his shoulders, his impassive facial expression remaining ever present.
では、このようなものはどうですか？
By the time his words reached their conclusion, the demonstration had already begun. In the blink of an eye, Inohana and Kuramochi came to realize that they were both holding handguns. Neither Noatu nor Norose had made a single movement, and yet this miraculous happening had become undeniable reality.
おお、本物そっくりだ。
まるで手品のようだよ。
手品と一緒にしてもらっては困ります。その銃の存在は現実。
Their eyes fixated on the handguns within their grasps. Inohana and Kuramochi nodded in satisfaction for a second time.
実に素晴ら
いかにも神をも超越する力だ。
Power to surpass even God himself. Navigate Shinrai Tsuji6, thank you for watching.
この銃は記念にもらっておくとするか。
小物ですね。
To the other two men present in the room, Norosa's faint whisper was
早
inaudible.
速今後の計画を検討しよ
まずは300人委員会の排除。
Oh, you gonna get rid of them?
う。ノロセ、ご苦労だったな。
今後のことは追って連絡する。
The two were thoroughly pleased with themselves and the project, and moved to leave the premises with buoyant steps. And
そ
yet,
の必要はありません。
何？
no.
どういうことだ？
Notice's expression found itself changing for the first time. Just looks so villainous. He narrowed his eyes, slightly raised his jaw, and stared at them from where he stood. His attitude was one of intense scorn, as if he were fiercely looking down on them. No, in truth, he was looking down
計
on
画
them
は私が引き継ぎましょう。ただし、
for loftier, far more
あな
noble
た方の
goals.
考えているような低俗な目的ではなく、より
Notice's
崇高
tone
な理由
remained civil
の
and
ために。
polite. Beginning to understand what exactly he was conveying, the two men naturally became infuriated.
様、
神にでもなったつもりかね。
300人委員会が黙ってはおらんぞ。
お二人も300人委員会のメンバーでありながら、反旗を翻そうとしていたではありませんか。
Notice's eyes watched them carefully, and housed within them was raw, unending contempt. His gaze was cold as could be. It was as if he was being forced to study two monoliths of pure rot and filth. His gaze conveyed a very particular meaning, one that revealed he had only been using those two from the very
こ
start,
れはすべて予定通りの行動ですよ。
all according to
あなた
Keikaku.
方がここで死ぬことも含めて。
ふざけるな。
ざれ言を。
Kunoichi and Inohana aimed their guns at Norose. They moved to pull the
ざれ
triggers.
言ではなく、
The two guns fired simultaneously. Their roars echoed within the dome. I bet those two got shot instead, right?
予知だったのですが。
And yet it was not Norose who had fallen, but Inohana and Kuramochi. For some unfathomable reason, they had taken their sights off of Norose right before pulling the triggers and shot each other instead. Their deaths had been instant. Two compatriots then collapsed. They had put holes into each other's heads, and now they were nothing more than lumps of meat who would never draw breath
ノ
again.
ア2は我が手にあります。特別にはその意味がお分かりにはならなかったようだ。
Notice's demonstration had been about more than simply showing off guns. Its purpose had been to make the two men mistake each other for Norose and take their own lives in the process. That was the real demonstration, and with the power of Noah too, it had been beyond trivial to perform. Next, Norose turned toward his tableau. Affixed there was the figure of Sakihata Rimi. Yeah. She had begged Norose to let Nanami go, and thus she had then been taken hostage in her place. Due possibly to the mental attacks by Nanami, Rimi's energy had long since faded, leaving her head pointed toward the ground as she hung affixed. Yet, when Norose strode toward her, her shoulders ever so slightly trembled. Aw, Rimi.
自分のあなたこそ
The back of Notice's hand struck her cheek. Feeling this, he grabbed Rimi by the jaw and forced her to look at him. Even though nearly all life had left her expression, even as she desperately fought to keep her eyes open, her glare flared with an ardent blaze directed solely at
な
Nonose.
ぜ西条匠に助けを求
I
め
was
ないの
looking
で
so
す。
evil. Well, because they are. Nonose whispered close to her ear. Well, the two men there at least.
着込まないで。
Noro sensei.
どちらの？
二人とも。
私としては IR2 を生み出した者、二人とも化け物じみた力を持って、彼らどちらかのコードサンプルが手に入り、神をも超える力を得るのです。
Mimi lowered her eyes in anguish. He fiercely tore away the hand that had been holding her jaw, and as his gaze rose up to Naoto, a smile formed from the corners of his mouth.
さあ、どちらでもいい。私は歓迎しますよ。
Rather, that was exactly what he had been waiting for. After surmounting all of Nonosu's trials devised specifically for him, Nishijo Takumi would arrive in this very location. Well, it seems like it really is just all going according to his plan, huh? We are heading there. As I made my way through the dark tunnel, I relied on the red glow of my D-sword to see. My steps naturally became quicker and quicker. I'd never walked on subway tracks at all before. As certain as I was that no trains were coming, the mere possibility had me tense enough that I couldn't keep my head from frantically whipping back and forth. It was a minute-long train ride between Shibuya Station and Shinsen Station. The distance between should have been less than a kilometer. Luckily for me, the tunnel in the Inokashira line didn't have too many cave-ins, so making it to Shibuya Station shouldn't have been the worst thing ever. But something was still weighing on me. Kozupi had warned me about something before we'd parted ways. Oh? What'd she say?
たくさんのグモグモドロドロっていう意識がね、待ち構えてるのら。
Oopy gloopy ploopy head.
コズピ、力になれないけど、気をつけてね、たくみさん。
Oopy goopy poopy head consciousnesses. Right. At the very least, I imagined I wasn't gonna like those. I was starting to have second thoughts. Fear crept up on me and I started to feel incredibly alone. That'd be crazy. Making my way through a pitch-black tunnel all by myself, a tunnel in which something horrifying was apparently waiting for me. How could I not lose my nerve? Whispers in the back of my mind urged me to leave the tunnel this instant, to find a way to Shibuya Station on the surface. But I didn't have that kind of time to lose. So, in order to destroy any remaining fear I had, I thought of Mimi's smiling face. I thrusted my D-sword forward to illuminate the tunnel ahead of me. Problem was, its red glow only made my feelings of anxiety and foreboding even worse. Suddenly something fell off. I felt like I'd caught a glimpse of something strange enough to make my gaze dart all around to try and find it. 10 meters ahead of me on the track, a small shadow was jutting out, one that hadn't been there a second ago. I squinted. Actually, it wasn't a shadow at all. Standing at about 20 centimeters tall, it was a Seiratan figure. What the? Why would that be in a place like this? This feels like a trap. I was hit with a sense of whiplash. It was way too out of place. I was in a dim underground tunnel, one for train tracks that took people between stations. The general public didn't tend to go into the tunnels themselves, especially this deep. I was right in the center of them, and yet the figure was there anyway. And it was the post-awakening version too, my absolute favorite. Though her chest was pretty busted up. Wait a second, is that the one we lost? Was that my figure? The one I dropped during the chaos at Scramble Crossing yesterday? If it was, then how the hell had she ended up here? She was standing perfectly upright too, with that bewitching smile of hers aimed straight at me.
なんでセイラが
タッキーにはそう見えてるんだ。
I heard a voice. The voice I always deluded was talking inside my head. Seira's voice.
なんでもいいけどさ。
It happened in less than a second, faster than I could even blink. Well, Seiradon, who should have been just a small figure, had instantly transformed into a life-sized model. Then just like a real person. Was this a delusion? You know, I never noticed that, like, she has a bunch of eyes on her. Were they always eyes? Like here, here, here. Her hat. Thigh highs, question mark. Armor. Here, kind of, maybe. I mean, these aren't... They're just circles, but... Huh. I guess they're not in this version. I heard another voice behind me. Whipping my head around in shock, I saw another life-sized Seiradon standing there. Didn't end there. To my left and to my right, the amount of Seiradons was slowly multiplying. They cascaded out from the darkness. Just the sight alone sent a slight chill down my spine. The number of Seiradons had to have been at least in the triple digits now. That would be absolutely crazy to witness. Oh. This is a cute screen though. So many Seiradons. Yeah, glasses would be called 7 Eyes. Yeah, I guess so. What if all of the eyes on her, like armor and stuff, also had glasses too? 100 Seiradons crowded around me and spoke in unison. Laughing gleefully, one of the Seiradons in front of me charged at me. Then her slender arms swung her colossal metal bat. The impact was definitely real. My D-side managed to take the brunt of the blow. It had been way too heavy of a strike. My hand started spasming before going numb. It all hurt like hell. That was when I realized it was all really happening. It wasn't just some delusion, it was reality. They were real-rooted beings. Every single one of them was out for blood. Dun dun dun. I guess this is what Kozupi was warning about, right? Maybe. I have to brute force my way through. I retightened my grip on my D-sword. The fiery emblem on my D-sword's hilt began to burn. Even more red light began to emanate from the blade. I slashed the sword, tearing right through my waifu. The blade was weightless, smooth in how it handled. It drew whatever trajectory I wished it to. The blade bit into her shoulder before running through her body in its entirety. Goodbye, Seiradon. There had not been a shred of resistance when it came to rending her flesh and bones. It had hardly taken any strength from me at all. Eyes in black as well, that's true. Seida's glamorous body split in half at an angle. Certain trails piled up. She collapsed on the spot. Even her organs had been perfectly reproduced. It glittered and shone with a pink gleam. Ugh. I averted my eyes. I was gutting my favorite character with my own two hands. As an otaku, this was the hardest thing I'd ever had to do. But still, I couldn't give up here. Suddenly, each and every one of the Seiras started speaking independently of one another. The flood of voices threatened to swallow me whole. I have to quit thinking of them as Seira. That was what I had to tell myself. And so, in order to keep moving forward, I swung my sword at the Seiras blocking my path. Translated that anyway. Rending the darkness with a single horizontal strike, a red beam blazed across the tunnel. I guess they would be the last thing you'd see that way, but... Four Sedatons standing next to each other instantly turned into corpses. Another one grabbed me from behind. She wrapped her arms around my neck in a chokehold. Another Seira tried to mount my leg and I quickly punctured her in the face with my D sword. A cleanly cut molten hole formed where her smile had used to be. It was hard to breathe. My neck was being constricted. I was on the verge of suffocating. Another metal bat was coming right at me. I managed to writhe around enough to change positions, and now my back was facing it. I felt Seira's body shudder and her grip on my neck weakened. No, we have to save her. I shook her off my back, then I whipped around and swiped with my D sword. 3 pairs of Seraton's legs came at me. My next strike would sever them at the thighs. The 3 of them plunged into the ground in perfect harmony. I stepped on top of their backs. Seira started winding up her middle bat and I swung my sword down on her. The metal bat met with my D sword, only for me to carve straight through it and straight through the top of her head. No, my D sword wasn't carving things. More than that, it would have been more accurate to say it evaporated anything that crossed with its trajectory, no matter how soft the object, no matter how solid the object, no matter how cold the object, no matter how hot the object. My blade instantaneously boiled and burned away anything it came into contact with, severing it from its source. Next looks like Spike from Mario. Spike? Oh, is it the Bowser Spike from the castles from Mario? Do you just mean Bowser's spikes, or? These anime characters who all have the same face. They're all calling my name in unison. They continued to attack me just for the sake of it. It made my hair stand on end. To try and rile myself up, I let out a huge scream. Then, aiming for the Seira right in front of me, I plunged my sword straight into her chest. Seira grabbed onto my D sword, and almost that exact same second, her hands evaporated. Both work? I see. I lost all words. Dread began to climb up from the depths of my body. Chills ran down my back. My entire body stiffened. This wasn't Seira. Seira would never have turned against me. Yeah, so true. Oh, I guess she has eyes on the bottom of her shoes too. I heard the sound of several of my ribs being pulverized. I even felt the bones in my right arm creak, letting out a dull sound as they did. The blow resounded within my body, and then the sheer impact sent me flying. Oof. I smashed into a wall. My head collided directly with it. Ouch! My vision warped and wavered. Ugh! She rapidly swung her middle bat down on top of me. I was getting bludgeoned. My left arm was minced from the elbow down. Ugh. Even the concrete in the wall was dented from the blow. Yikes! Another metal bat swung straight into my leg. Ugh. All strength left my right hand. The slightest movement caused a severe pain to scream out in my brain, but I ignored it and swung my D sword. I cleanly severed the oncoming metal bat, but the pain of doing so forced a groan from my mouth. I came within arm's reach of the Seira in front of me, impaled her torso with my D sword, and tore my way through her. Her blood spattered my hands. Despite being just an anime character, her blood was incredibly warm. My mind went numb. Pain was all that ruled me now. I wanted to lock it all away, but I couldn't. As long as this pain endured, I would never be able to. Yeah. Copious amounts of clotted blood gushed out of my flattened left hand. The strongest one. It wasn't easy trying to hold on to the D-sword in my right either. Pain seemed to reverberate from my very bones. Pain so bad I felt like I was about to pass out. I realized my entire body was soaked with sweat. Droplets stung at my eyes. My vision was hazy. More and more Seiras approached from in front of me. The sound of their cheerful laughter reverberated deep within my ears, making my very eardrums vibrate. From my injuries, I doubted I'd live for more than a few hours. That thought had suddenly come to me. It didn't really matter. I was just a delusion anyway. A being that would blink out of existence just as quickly as it blinked in. In the grand scheme of things, my injuries didn't really matter. I just needed to save Nimi. I just needed to destroy Noah too. If this body could grant that, then I'd gladly give it all away. So...
一緒にいようよ
The middle back came down on me once again. I figured I'd be able to avoid it. The fatigue and pain slowed my reaction considerably. Oof. Ah. I was struck right in the temple. I could feel its enormous spikes staring into my skull. Ah. The world shook. My vision went black. Things became even darker than they already had been, and I could no longer see anything at all. I tumbled over, and as I tumbled, my mind went to my right hand. It was exploding with pain, but I was able to reaffirm that my D-sword was still there. I swung out my flattened left hand in an attempt to regain my footing. An exposed bone collided with the ground. Ugh. An impact akin to an electric shock ran through my entire body, causing me to black out for a second. I regained consciousness soon after. My vision came back. I started to raise back up. The soles of my feet caught hold of the ground. Using the centrifugal force I'd been blown away with, I charged into the horde of Seiras and swung my right hand. My bones creaked. Freshly spilled blood burst out from the Seiras. The stench of blood refused to leave my nostrils. Was it my blood? Seiras' blood? Who even knew? It all blended together. All I knew was that I was covered in blood and that the coat of red staining me had made my vision go blurry. God. I kept on carving into them. Who even knew just how many I'd cut down at that point? When would it end? In my mind, it was as if she was multiplying infinitely. Seira clung to my right hand. I swung both her and my D-sword around. But she wouldn't let go. Instead, she bent my arm backward in a way it wasn't meant to go. My joint came out of its socket. All strength left my arm. My D-sword hit the ground. Nausea welled up in my stomach. I coughed and sputtered violently. A taste of blood spread through my mouth. I was pretty sure my shattered ribs were puncturing my internal organs. Any and every kind of pain was eating away at my body. I felt like I was going to go insane, but I was holding out hope. I couldn't help but hold out hope. I wanted to be set free, but I knew very well how impossible that was, so my hope was more wishful thinking than anything.
汗拭いてあげよっか
With a big grin on her face, it appeared at my face, and I drove my foot into her jaw as hard as I could. I forcibly channeled more strength into my right arm. All sensation in it was going numb. It felt as if my nerves were burning to a crisp. My entire body was boiling. And now the pain in my bones was rippling not just through my arm, but through my entire body. I was on the verge of shattering to pieces. Then, I heard something that sounded like the growl of a beast. For a moment, I wondered whose voice it was, only to realize it was my own. The fingers on my right hand faintly shifted. Well, I grabbed my D-sword and conjured a delusion. Okay. I pictured it being bound by a cord, and it instantly became real. The sword was secured to my hand with the cord. I was just gonna swing it around? I needed to move to get to where Rimi was, beyond this darkness.
タッキー、どうして私と一緒にいてくれないの？
I sputtered out the blood that had gathered in my mouth. I was surrounded by heaps of Seda corpses lying on the ground. Ooh. Other Sedas kicked past them on their way to me, producing ripples in the puddles of blood. I slowly shook my head.
だって
I
セ
gritted
ー
my
ラは
teeth.
アニメじゃないか。
The very next second, every single Seda morphed into 2D. I see. Monsters standing became life-sized cardboard cutouts. The corpses lying on the ground became covers for body pillows. It all returned home, back to the realm of 2D. Not a single one of them moved
チリ
anymore.
は僕も
Okay.
後で行くよ。
Phew. Back to 2D. In something of a moment of silence for the girls, I briefly hung my head over the wreckage. In the back of my mind, I was thinking that the gory blood-stained Seda body pillow covers definitely wouldn't sell well. I was on the brink of passing out, but I managed to stave it off by biting my lip hard. And then I started walking through the dark tunnel once again. Oh, we do both have pink hair and purple eyes. I ended up at a dilapidated building near Shibuya Station's east entrance. The surrounding scenery was dotted with partly or entirely collapsed buildings, leaving the building here as the sole intact survivor. On it was the dome of a rooftop planetarium that had closed down some years back. Alright, we made it. Noah too. Wheezing my lungs out, I descended the deserted stairway to the top floor. I'd made my way through the unattended lobby into the planetarium before I took a breather at the gargantuan device that had jumped into my sight. It was Noah too in all its majesty, surrounded by a chilly air robbing me of my warmth. A piece of art stood beside Noah too.
ユミ
Mimi. Mimi, affixed to the art piece, slowly raised her head at my voice. Our eyes met. Okay, at least she's not, like, visibly wounded. Her eyes shot open. What chapter are you on? I cannot remember the number. Actually, I guess I can save and see. Okay, chapter 10. Eyes begin to swim. She shook her head sadly. Probably looking pretty bad right now, considering it's Sarah. Because I've fallen in love with you. I'm in love with you, Mimi. But I couldn't say that out loud. I couldn't say anything heroic like, I'm here to save you because I'm in love with you. Not with how I was. Not with me covered in blood and a completely flattened arm. My current state was as far from Prince Charming as humanly possible. If I said something like that right now, I'd probably look creepy as hell. That put me closer to a stalker than anything, really. If I spilled my guts to her in some speech that didn't let her get a word in, it would have just put her way off. She was going to live, and I was going to die. Having some dead man walking convey all his feelings on a whim would have left a horrible taste in her mouth, so I bottled it all in.
これを返したくて
My right hand was still weak. It was the hand I'd been using to hold my D sword. Desperately forcing my fingers to move, I reached inside my jacket pocket and pulled out a handkerchief. Oh. It was colored a gentle vermilion. Whether that was its original hue or due to my blood staining it, I didn't know. Mimi had given it to me, though its floral aroma had long since expired. That handkerchief was one of several precious memories she'd given me.
僕は君をここから助け出してノア2を壊してこのハンカチを返すんだ。
That was all I was capable of doing, and if I managed to achieve it at all, I could die with no regrets. Besides, there wasn't much else I could do. In my mind, every sense of mine had gone numb a long time ago. I imagined that the reason for that was because the pain was so severe. My brain had no choice but to start blocking the sensations transmitted by whatever nerves were responsible. I could barely move. My arm continued to bleed. My vision was blurry. Was someone covered in blood confess to you? Well, I mean, there's like a lot happening in here, though. Like, I don't know. In the normal world, though, I would be scared. I was incredibly cold. I had a feeling that if I wasn't careful, I'd lose consciousness right then and there.
君は実に勇敢ですね。
A towering man emerged from behind Noah too. Norose Genichi. Facing me, he clapped sarcastically with no clear expression on his face.
しかし、
I
致命
appreciate
的
the
なことが
applause
一
nonetheless,
つあ
I
りま
guess.
す。行動原理が感情に根ざしているということ。
I had no idea what he was getting at. It took everything I had just to bear with the pain, so aside from Nimi, I didn't have any brain power left to try and comprehend what anyone was saying.
小を犠牲にして大の利益を守る。それを悪だと思いますか？私はそうは思いません。このままでは人類はいずれ人の欲望によってあまりにも醜い心、あまりに利己的な欲望の洪水、人の社会はすでに破綻し腐り落ちようとしています。誰もが己のことしか考えず、その結果殺し合い奪い合っています。君もギガロマニアックスとして覚醒したのなら見たはずですよ。
True nature of the
人の
hearts of
心
men.
の本質。私は幼い頃に覚醒したため、もう何十年という間、それを見てきた。300人委員会は人類の自滅を阻止するためという大義名分のもと、世界人間牧場計画を推し進めてきました。けれどそれも所詮、彼らのエゴを満たすものでしかない。私が目指すのはそんなものではありません。悟ったのですよ。この腐った世界を再生するためには、社会のシステムを変えるのではなく、世界中すべての人間の心を変える必要があるのだと。そのた
Hearts
め
of all
の
mankind.
プロジェクトノアです。ノア2があれば世界中すべての人間から負の妄想を消し去り、清廉争いは消え、世界に君も誰かに蔑まれることもなくなるでしょう。
Finally, his novel-length monologue came to a close. My body was on the verge of collapse, but I desperately planted my feet. At least I got in a bit of a break. That was the only reason I was still
あ
standing.
んたの言ってることはもしかしたら正しいかもしれない。
Pokemon and Edgeworth had a kid. What does Nana look like? Let me see. Oh, I can kinda see it. I hadn't really been paying much attention, but in regards to the future of humanity, he was definitely right. His ideals were entirely righteous. He was the president of a sprawling corporation, and his eye was aimed solely on justice for the whole of mankind. Me, meanwhile, I was a monster, a virgin, an otaku freak, a selfish, ego-driven wannabe who just wanted to save some girl he liked and didn't give a shit about anyone else. Normally, that'd make me the bad guy through and through. The monster would then be slain and justice would
で
prevail.
も僕は
なぜ否定するのです？
ただの
残念です。
His gaze locked onto me. Notice grabbed Mimi by the collar and threw her off the art piece. Okay. His right hand then stretched out in front of it. But his D-sword? It is. In that ephemeral moment, the one standing art piece found itself in Noros's hand. And this pose, this posture is so... It was no mere art piece, nor was it a cross that existed for crucifixion. It was a D-sword. It was far too monstrous to be called a sword. Savagery, gelidity, that which sowed terror, a contaminated gospel, chaos thoroughly complexified, a blasphemy with which to desecrate, the purest of evils, akin to the very gates of themselves, the hearts of those who gazed upon it, would be wrenched away, luring them into an eternal aeon of strife. All that was negative in this world converged into one, embodying its very shame. It is very evil looking. I gulped back all the saliva that had built up in my throat. Despite everything, I made up my mind. I fixed my grip on my D-sword, which was still bound to my hand with the cord, and then I took a single step toward Noah too. Or, more accurately speaking, I began to close the distance between Norose and myself. Speaking of distance, he had an overwhelming advantage in range over me. It's huge.
あまり得意ではないのですが、しかし君からコードサンプルを手に入れる必要があります。そのために無力化しなければ。
Towering over me with one hand, Norose swung a D-sword even bigger than he was. The strike was so heavy, it felt as if it could have pulverized any known object out there. My arm was slow to respond. Even moving it slightly made pain explode throughout it. Even still, I forced it to do so and raised my arm. I caught the blow with my D-sword. Any normal sword would have been split right in two. And that wasn't even accounting for how unbelievably thin my sword was. It couldn't have been more different from Nodos's. And yet, my D-sword didn't break. Somehow, I managed to parry Nodos's first strike. My hand went numb. My left hand pulverized, my balance on that side was non-existent. The stance I'd been holding collapsed. By the looks of it, he was about to send me flying. I just had to endure it. Oh, it's so over. I connected with Nodos's second blow. His recovery between strikes is way too fast. Don't be misled by how his sword looks. That was what I told myself. It was a battle of strength, between a sword that was far too thin and delicate, and a sword that was far too colossal and ferocious. Somehow, I was holding out with it, at least for the moment. Oh, there they are, exchanging blows. And Takumi, he does have some blood on him. Honestly, not as much as I would have thought based on the descriptions from earlier, but 4 times now. 4 times had our blades crossed, but this time the position of Nodos's hands began to change. It looked like he was clutching the guard of the sword now, and then his sword began to writhe. Letting out an eerie noise, its malleable mechanisms groaned. The blade's edge then split in two, opening into a pair of scissors. Ah! I was then thrust toward my very chest. That alteration. Right then I came to realize it would mean the end of me. We're gonna get cut in half. I countered, swinging my sword down in front of me. But I was too late. Ugh, that's a lot of blood. Ugh. Its forked point sank straight into my chest. A callous smile formed on Noros's lips. He loosened his grasp on the guard, and the colossal scissors snapped shut. My chest, my ribs, and my lungs were all devoured. I desperately stumbled back. And right when I did that, Norris swept his arm straight across. Oh gosh. My own fresh blood danced before my eyes. Pain spiked throughout my entire body. Even though my senses were supposed to have been numbed, I was on the verge of screaming out with whatever remained of my lungs. But even so, I clenched my teeth and endured it. My chest had been thoroughly minced. If not for stepping back when I did, he would have hit my heart. Massive quantities of blood continued to spray out. Oh gosh. Not looking so good for us. I nearly toppled over, but I caught myself at the last second. I can't die here. I didn't come this far just to die. I ignored Norose. Instead of him, I approached Noatu and Nimi, the latter of which was collapsed on the ground. It took every fiber of my being, but I did it all the same. Raising her hand from the ground, Nimi looked in my direction. She was likely exhausted. There was no way her body had any strength left. As fatigue, or maybe just my injuries, continued to wear me down, my vision grew blurrier. I wasn't sure what sort of face Nimi was making as she looked at me. I didn't meet her gaze. I couldn't bear for her to see me like this, bloody and beaten to a pulp. That was the sole minuscule bit of pride I had left. Even on my deathbed, that was where I drew the line. I advanced toward Noah too. My D-sword was already within range. Oddly enough, Notice stayed behind me, ignoring that I was leaving him behind. You may pass. All of a sudden, a cheery melody began to ring throughout the dome. You may pass. Noah too towered over me. The sound emanating from it became even more shrill. Deep within all its majesty, I sensed something incredibly strange and enigmatic moving around. For a split second, I flinched. Albeit slowly, I managed to take a stance with a blade at my hip, aiming toward Noatu's nearly organic-looking, tube-covered exterior, and bulldozed it with my D-sword. That was when I noticed. At some point or another, Noatu had vanished from my sight, and now, somehow, I was standing with my back to it. Oh, he got us. I knew for a fact that I'd just been trying to destroy it. There wasn't a single damn reason for me to have turned around. And yet, that was the direction I was facing. In the very center of my blurred vision, Notice was the one standing there, not Noah too. I turned myself around, swinging my D-sword at it for the second time. Except, even though I'd fully intended to turn around, I hadn't. I had the will to turn myself around, and I'd even made the motion to do so. And yet, the end result was one where I hadn't actually turned around. I was hit with a wave of utter confusion. Nora's quiet voice resounded from within the dome, pulling and mixing together with the melody of You May Pass. When he finished speaking, he leisurely walked closer to me. We gotta make him see delusion, and then make him destroy Noah too. Then, as if it was the easiest thing in the world, he raised the colossal D-sword above his head. I clenched my teeth. I'd lost a lot of blood. I couldn't think clearly. Even though I didn't have the slightest bit of sensation in my right hand, I shoved the pain and the fact I couldn't move it properly aside, and lifted it up in a desperate attempt to deflect the next blow. And then, the D-sword that had somehow still remained attached to my hand with the cord was sent flying by a staggering impact. Oh, goodbye, sword. Oh. It tumbled across the floor, far, far away from me. Siren noises. It was astonishing seeing it off. Fixing my gaze back in front of me, I was met with Notice's sneering figure, and then, as if in warning, as if to urge my mind forward, the melody changed. Notice's stance told me he was already prepared to strike again. He was about to bring that sword crashing down on me. It was all too overwhelming, all too devastating, all too brutal. That was his D-sword. and he was coming down on me while I was completely unarmed. I had no way of stopping his strike. I was a sitting duck. Well, Rimi forced her way between Norose and me. Her soft touch enveloped my face. Yeah, I guess so, but she's like really scared of him, so she probably couldn't move until now. I felt Rimi's chest. She had wrapped her arms around me almost like a tender embrace. She was protecting me from Norose. Norose sighed quietly, lowering his sword. Rimi had saved me once again, even though I told her I was here to save her. How pathetic was that? Hit with a wave of intense frustration. Huh? Put my right hand onto her body. To her blouse. What? A sensation of underwear lying atop her skin. Why? Then I felt the pain of the gashes in my chest, then the pain of my amputated left hand, then the pain of my dislocated right arm, then the pain of my dysfunctional lungs as I struggled to breathe. The warmth I felt now surely could heal all of it. Will it? Why does the guy kill her? What do you mean? Oh, not kill her? Well, I'm assuming she serves some importance. I guess we don't really know. So all the buttons on her blouse, I ripped away the clothing that was keeping her body hidden away. Why is he doing this? Why? That's weird right hand. The blood. I'm simply scared. God is hurt and bring me all. Man, Takumi. The gasp I got off of her. When I realized what I'd been trying to do, I was genuinely shocked. What do you mean? After I'd gotten off of her, Rimi tightly clutched her chest and continued to sob sadly. But she'd been protecting me. Why had I done that? Why the hell had I done that, especially at a time like this? Why was I the one making Rimi cry? Yeah, why did you do that?
本当は崎畑リミを犯したいんでしょ。
Oh. My own voice echoed within my mind. Shocked, I swallowed back my saliva. Is that really his inner thought? Am I not stopping you? I'm assuming this is all part of his plan. Maybe. Like, he needs to obtain, like, a sample from our brain, I guess, in order for his plans. What was so shocking to me? The fact that he was right? Because he'd seen through me? But who was he to begin with? It was my own voice, my inner voice, my true nature?
ここで物にしておかないと。あんなしわくちゃ野郎にリミはやられちゃう。寝取られるなんて嫌じゃねえ。まあ、もうすでにやられちゃってる可能性もあるけどさ。
My true nature continued whispering to me. Stop it. Stop saying this. I don't believe a single word you're saying. I couldn't cover my ears even if I wanted to, considering my lack of a left hand. Rimi was just lying there sobbing, unable to fix her messy clothes. Just seeing her face like that shattered my heart. Man.
きれいこと言ってないでさ。犯しちゃう。ノロセはそれをする時間ぐらい待ってくる。どうせ僕はもうすぐ死ぬ。やりたいことやって死のうよ。 僕のこのかわいそうな境遇にはここでちょっとひどいことやったってしょうがなかったら許されるよ。
It was just a delusion, something that was a bad habit of mine. Things could take a turn for the worse if I didn't stop listening. The current would drag me away. My weak-minded nature was luring me to the path of least resistance, toward a really bad path. But I couldn't let it drag me away, not now. You better not act on those
リミは
talking.
僕に同情してくれてた。犯せよ。死ぬ前に。ダメだ!
I screamed, to shatter my weak mind, to blow it straight to hell. Luckily, it seemed to have worked. Mimi had even stopped crying. She lowered the hands covering her face, and then she glared at me with ice-cold eyes.
つまんない男。
What? Those few words were all it took for my mind to be swallowed by a cascade of dark emotions. And as I swung myself at Mimi... Well, that's quite a bit of blood. With a staggering force, an enormous stake burst straight up from the concrete floor. Oh. I painted the stake. I mean, I couldn't comprehend what was going on. My legs were floating in the air. Even if I wanted to run away, I couldn't. The stake gradually tore its way farther and farther into my body. It was excruciatingly painful, but not enough to kill me. The stake continued to grow, lifting me a whole meter into the air. Any form of movement sent a jolt of pain through my groin. I was completely unable to move. Someone save me. I cast my pleading eyes down toward Mimi. But without even looking at me, she walked straight to Nodose's side. Then, as if exhausted of all strength, she crouched to the ground. Both Nodose and Mimi simply stared at me, at the mortifying display. Neither of them had any form of expression as they watched. Neither of them had any interest in saving
知ってい
me.
ますか？かつて拷問刑として串刺しは世界中のあちこちで用いられていました。この拷問の特徴は死ぬまで3日ほどかかるということで
3 days.
す。自らの体重によって徐々にその杭は体に食い込んでいく。
Well, that does not sound
そ
fun.
れにより臓器を傷つけることがなくなり、最終的に杭の先端が口や肩から突き破れば処刑。見守っていてあげますよ。
For all
3
3
日あな
days.
たが死ぬまで。彼女も同じ考えのようですし、
Maybe nodded in response to
もっ
his
とも
words.
その前に胸や腕の傷のせいで失血死に至る方が早いかもしれませんが。
It's a delusion, a delusional attack. That was what I told myself. In reality, I wasn't really impaled. I was still just standing in front of Noah, too. I was only hallucinating. I believed that to be true. I had to believe it. 3 days. 72 hours. 4,320 minutes. 259,200 seconds. If I can endure it for that long, the delusion will end. It has to. If I just sleep for a bit or pass out, it'll go by a lot quicker. Those are my thoughts. But I couldn't do either of those things. The pain wouldn't let me. That was exactly what made this such pure, unrelenting torture. I was gonna go insane if this went on. Even though only a moment ago I'd been thinking about trying to endure it, I'd spiraled straight into despair. Considering the extreme amount of time left before my death, despair was the sole emotion that hadn't drained directly out of me. Just kill me already. Okay. How much time had passed, man? The vision. I didn't see a clock, so I had no clue. I wanted to see a clock, but I knew that if I did see one, the hand sluggishly ticking by would probably shatter my spirit completely. I clenched my teeth. Sweat was oozing off my body in droves. Thanks to that, my throat had gone dry. I moistened it by swallowing the blood that was trickling in. Inside my body, I could feel the stake continuously shoving aside my internal organs as it wedged itself even deeper into me. I could feel it very clearly, like a countdown to my inevitable death. Soon enough, it arrived at my minced chest. After that, it pierced through my throat. It skewered me straight through the mouth. Horrifying image. The pain and shock was pushing my sanity to its limits. The pain kept me in a 5-minute cycle of passing out, waking up, then passing back out again. I came to understand something. Every time I fainted, my body would go limp, and the stake dug into me even faster. Naturally, the pain grew to uncomparable levels when that happened. Then it would wake me back up. Unable to move, my body would writhe in torment, then I'd pass out again to escape the pain, and the gruesome cycle would repeat itself. Even when I was conscious, I was entirely in a daze. It seemed the pain had somehow faded a little, too. My vision had gone dim. Was it nighttime? Not that it mattered, considering the lack of windows in the dome. I supposed it was probably because of how much blood I'd lost. Blood trickled from my chest and arms, albeit not a whole lot. If it kept dripping out, maybe I could die peacefully from that instead of being impaled. Realizing that, I attempted to swing around my left arm, hardly any of which remained below the elbow, but it didn't even twitch. No doubt my nerves were already dead. Oof. Was it really a delusion? When was it going to end? Would it ever actually end? What had made me believe it was a delusion to begin with? How could I know it was a delusion? What if it was all reality? If I endured it, I'd just die anyway. Enduring it didn't mean shit. But I was enduring it anyway? That was stupid. Only a dumbass would do that. I was an idiot. Die. Not the haha KYS kind, no, actually die. I should die right now. I was sick of all the pain. I was sick of all the suffering. Bite your tongue off. Do that and you'll be at peace soon after. Just let me out of here. This is all a delusion, right?
死ぬ死ぬ死ぬ死ぬ死ぬ死ぬ痛い
My chest continued to hemorrhage. I couldn't breathe. No matter how much oxygen I tried to suck in, my throat would only make a stupid wheezing sound. I looked down only to be met with a stake peeking through the holes in my chest. Struggling for oxygen as my mouth flapped open and shut, I violently vomited out blood. The fact I was about to die brought me peace of mind.
そろそろですね。
It was Nodos's voice. The bastard was right in front of me, but I couldn't see him. In fact, I couldn't see a thing. Being impaled had left me in so much agony for so long, I'd completely forgotten about both him and Nimi. I couldn't help but wonder if Nimi was still close by, though it didn't really matter. I was too occupied with trying to breathe. For a good while now, I'd been dedicating every nerve and every last ounce of strength toward just doing
君が
that.
無事死ぬ前に
Ah,
彼女を始末しておきましょう。
Nimi. I wasn't exactly sure what he was talking about, nor did I have the chance to think about it.
私を殺すの。
へえ、そういう遺言をどうぞ。
Is he actually gonna do that, or is he just saying that to like try to get Takumi to do something?
タク。
Oh. Oof. I heard Nimi's final scream, then the sound of someone toppling over. I imagined that Nimi had just been shot and killed. I didn't feel a single pang of emotion. Something else took priority. I turned to working on breathing. Back in 10 minutes? Okay. And then I felt shock at how I'd done that. What was the meaning in any of this? Why did I struggle so hard to keep on breathing? Wasn't it just too much? Something hot streamed down my cheeks. I was probably crying, but there wasn't any way to be sure of that. I tried my best to endure everything that I had dealt with so far, but so close to the 3-day limit, the meaning of doing so had been entirely lost. I'm sorry, Rimi. I should be the one to apologize. I couldn't protect you. There wasn't any point in living anymore. I let my body go limp. The weight of that caused my body to sink even deeper. I felt a foreign object working its way up my throat. Breathing became impossible. Something was driving itself up through me. Yeah. Okay, I came back to my senses. The feeling of a foreign object in my throat disappeared. Okay, so I guess none of that actually happened in reality. Okay, hang on. I'm gonna go to the restroom real quick, actually, I think. I'll leave a poll up. Okay. Who do you like the most? And thank you. I'll do my best. I'll try. They really always end up being food related, but what's another one? Oh, I'll do this. Okay, I'll BRB. I just realized that I'm leaving right now means it's just gonna be the like siren noises, but I guess that's fine. Okay, BRB. Okay, I'm back. Monitor back on. I see chocolate croissant is about 100% right now. They are really good. Well, I like everything that was a choice here. Yeah, chocolate croissant. I haven't had one in a while. Maybe I will change that. Chocolate croissant. Okay. My phone's back in. Alright, I forgot the siren has just been going on, huh? Okay. Came back to my senses. The feeling of a foreign object in my throat disappeared. I wasn't impaled anymore. The only blood on me was from my left arm and chest. When did reality end and the delusion begin? My brain couldn't begin to process it fast enough. I couldn't understand a thing about the situation. In front of me was Notice D-sword raised.
帰ってきましたか。あなたが体験した3日間は現実では1秒しか経っていませんが。
He did that to us.
妄想
After muttering that to myself in relief. Notice's D-sword flashed as fast as lightning. My body's top and bottom halves began to fall out of alignment. My vision fell. It sank downward even though my legs were still standing right there. Everything above my waist toppled to the floor. My torso had been cleaved clean off. The cross-section was all too beautiful to behold. I inexplicably fixed my gaze on my lower half. It was a reality I didn't want to accept. Or was it just another delusion? If it was, that would have been nice. Please be a delusion. Is this real? Who knows? Mimi was calling me. In a voice that seemed so sad. She was calling me.
その状態でも死ぬまで元医師である私が言うのだから確かです。その間にコードサンプルを取ることにしましょうか。
Maybe this is reality. I crawled, dragging my body away with my right hand alone. I headed straight for Nimi's voice. I want to feel you there, Nimi. I have to save you. Nimi. I dragged myself forward with my right hand, then again. I reached out, but I had no idea where Nimi was. I didn't reach her. I didn't reach anything at all. Ugh. Crunch. I felt my bones grind to dust. Melissa's dress, she trampled my outstretched right hand.
さすが化け物と言うべきですか。
Oh, it stopped.
そのノロセの足が
Huh?
蜃気楼のように揺れた。
He's narrating his own thoughts? Out
床の
loud?
タイルの模様がぼんやりとし始めて、
Or maybe just in his mind, but huh. Okay.
天地が回転する。床と天井が逆になる。僕は天井に這いつくばっている。両断された腰からものすごい勢いで血が噴き出す。
It feels weird having him narrate it now. Usually I'd be the one reading his inner thoughts out loud.
全開にした蛇口のように血が体から抜けていく。そのまま腕の傷口を通って内臓までが流れ出る。意識がスーッと遠くなる。でも完全には途切れない。血だまりができて、僕はそのシンクの海に身を横たえている。ドクンドクンと鼓動する心臓が僕の目の前に転がっていて、血だまりに波紋を作り、その波紋をぼんやり見ていたら、 僕の形が崩れた。人としての形を維持できない。僕と世界との境界が消失する。肉が溶け、骨がゴムのように曲がり、眼球は四角になり、口から裏返った肺がこぼれ出し、神経は数万キロメートルも引っ張られ、脳はシワの一つ一つを丁寧に伸ばされ、体はブヨブヨになる。空気に溶けていく。右手が糸のように伸びてプラネタリウムを出ていく。それは飴細工のように渋谷の空をさまよってコーネリアスタワーにくるくる巻きつく。何度も何度も何度も。別れた足が膨れてる。ブクブクと水風船みたい。パンパンにギチギチ音を立ててる。液状化、肉も骨もとろけてふくらはぎに溜まってる。腰からニョキって小さな頭が生えて、ぎょろりとした白い目が僕を見たよ。そしたら僕の頭がぐしゃって潰された。どっちの頭かはよくわかんない。潰れてトロトロになって、ビルの床、コンクリートの分子の隙間を抜けて落ちていく。地上へビューって地面に作るどろりとした脳みその水たまり。もぞもぞもごもごジュル。僕は二つになる。二つが四つになる。四つが八つになる。八つが四つに。二つが八つに。四つが四つに。どんどん増えてどんどん減る。僕がいっぱい。僕がいない。僕は何？僕って何？何って僕？僕？何？何区がナボにナボボになくおな。
君は妄想なんかじゃないよ。
レータ。
見てごらん。
西条七海が祈る。兄と共に収容された病院。怪我人があふれた待合室の片隅にうずくまり、実の兄のしわくちゃの手を握りしめて、右手の痛みに耐えて目を閉じて祈る。もう一人の兄の無事を。楠木優愛が祈る。倒壊したビルの瓦礫。彼の美少女フィギュア。
that's right, we gave her the Seraton
地
figure.
震と火事で醜く変形して目を閉じて祈る。彼女は許してくれた。 少年の無事を。岸本綾瀬が祈る避難所となっている水明学園。神話が書かれた文庫本。崩壊した渋谷を覆う。ふと目を閉じて祈る。彼女の歌を、彼女の話を。折原梢が祈る。新鮮駅の薄暗い青い瀬名の震える手を握りしめて、足の傷の痛みに耐えて目を閉じて祈る。心の声で語り合ったクラスメートの少年の無事を。青い瀬名が祈る。横たわる父の傍ら。父の冷たくなった手を握りしめ、最後まで素直。目を閉じて祈る。彼女のお願いに不器用ながら答えようとしてくれた咲畑りみが祈る。冷たい床に横たわりながら彼へ伸ばした自らの手をきつく握りしめて、傷だらけの彼の姿を見て感じた。目を閉じて祈る。自分が守ろうとした自分を助けに来てくれた少年の無
They're
事
all
を。
praying for us.
僕は何もできなかった。君が行動したんだ。その結果として君という周囲共通
Everyone
認識
has their eyes
とっくに
on
出来上がっているんだ。
you.
これからは、いや、もうすでに
We're real.
君こそが。
僕は君は誰？僕はその声が聞こえた瞬間に
Okay,
意識
we're
が
back.
僕を固定した。ぐちゃぐちゃにかき回されていた世界が一気に収束する。
Wow.
僕の理想度を形作った瞬間、
Convergent
僕
piano.
は僕としての形に
The
戻る。
song from one of the opening movies.
世界は世界としての形に戻る。
World
Boku
returns
wa-
its shape as the world.
僕だ。
I am me. We're so back. I could see clearly now. All my wounds had healed. My top and bottom halves were connected. I was standing on my own 2 feet. The pain was entirely gone. Serenity filled my heart.
妄想によく打ち勝ったね。僕の最後の力を
Thanks, Shogun.
君に託すよ。
I noticed Mimi at the edge of my vision. She was okay. She was looking at me. Tears were falling down her face. Don't cry. Summoning my strength, I grasped the D-sword's hilt. I ascertained its feeling. My arms worked better than ever. I completely regenerated. Wow. I focused my eyes on Norose,
僕は化け物だ。
so I can rescue Rimi, so I can destroy Noah too.
僕が望んだ妄想だ。
The delusion that I wished for. Nobusa's response was swift. He had yet to harvest the code sample of Nishijo Takumi. The delusion was supposed to have cornered the boy and shouted his psyche, but now the tables had turned, and that he could not swallow. Nobusa closed the gap between himself and Takumi. Taking a specific angle, he swung his D-sword from below. With a D-sword that could cleave any known object, he diagonally carved through Takumi's chest. After that, hello Larry, welcome back. The target's durability made no difference. Killing a person with it was as simple as slicing through a block of gelatin. With one quick swipe from Norose, Takumi's body was split into pieces. His head, right arm, right shoulder, all slid cleanly off of his body. Internal organs littered the floor. not a single drop of blood fell with them. The lower half of Takumi's body began to give way. He braced himself and managed to plant his feet. In the following moment, the cross-section of his wing began to undulate and squirm. Everything's fine. A bubbling noise ensued, and then he regenerated. That sound effect. Even though his body had been cleaved apart a mere second ago, already a new head, right arm, and shoulder had been born. His old head and internal organs remained where they had slid free from him. With a single step, Takumi approached Norose. Norose clicked his tongue and turned over his D-sword.
肉体の形を捨てたがゆえにいかなる形をも取れるという。
あんたの見せてくれた
Oh, he looks
妄
nervous.
想のおかげだよ。
He was unable to retain his shape as a human being. He had taken in the delusion and made it his own. This is not regeneration, but replacement. I see. Missing parts replenished, flesh and bone were produced once again, all propagating infinitely from the dust within his body. His shape was not fixed, like an amoeba, like a collection of slime. He could change himself freely. That was the reason Takumi called himself a monster. Takumi took yet another step toward Norose Man. He's too OP. Also, his frustration increased. Gripping the hilt, he thrusted his D-sword at the approaching Takumi. Takumi's head found itself between a colossal pair of scissors.
脳を失えば妄想はできないでしょ。
Takumi's head was crushed. It split like a watermelon. Blood and gray matter burst forth. Everything above the neck was gone, and yet Takumi's body remained. Regeneration, replacement, was instantaneous. As soon as his heel hit the ground, as if nothing had happened, as if he had been entirely replaced, his head returned right to where it had been without a single scratch. So crazy. Also awakened to an understanding. He could not win this fight. Physical attacks with his D-sword were useless. A delusional attack, denying the boy's reason for existence, had been taken in and used for an alternate purpose. The current Nishijo Takumi was all too removed from human normalcy, all too distorted of an existence, all too fitting as a monster. And yet, despite it all, Norose had no intention of conceding. His next thought was to utilize Noachu's power to bombard Takumi with innumerable antiparticles. Bombardment with antiparticles could transform any known existence into negative matter, ending ultimately in self-collapse. If disruption from the surface is not viable, then collapse must be undertaken from within.
そうなんだね。
Ah. Norose's thoughts had been read by Takumi. There's too many powers. The shine of Takumi's D-sword transformed from red to black. Oh. A black flame enveloped the blade. It wriggled forth, extending outward. Its shape resembled that of a dark, colossal serpent. Oh.
そして現れるの。
And then it shall appear. Ooh. Sick music. It roamed throughout the dome as if constrained by it. Toward the ceiling, toward the floor, as though it was licking them up, as though it was scraping them away. It simply consumed.
写真の黒き大将。
A dark, colossal serpent with wicked hearts.
写真の身を砕くことができる。糖質にして異質なる。
The body of the colossal serpent was composed of antiparticles. With a mere touch, it could send any known object into self-collapse. A torrent of destruction composed of near infinite greed.
触手芸はあんまり好みじゃないけど。
Okay, let's save real quick and we'll see the entry for it. Yeah, okay. There and then Takumi's D-sword swung, its pointed tip fixed on Norose. Look at it go. The dark serpent, winding itself into a coil, curved its body like a whip. Its jaw snapped at noticing. Such power! Not once had Notice ever seen such a phenomenon from the D sword. He could not discern whether it was the hidden power of all giggle maniacs, or merely Takumi's delusion. Interesting sound effects. The dark fangs eroded Notice's body, and he began to collapse. All too slowly, like a frog slowly dissolving in the belly of a snake. Darkness swallowed him. He felt no pain. By nature, his death should have been instant. But that was not what Takumi wished for. Realizing this, Notice's lips twisted into a derisive smile. Notice had no fear of death. One could say that the ideals he pursued had been accomplished with the completion of Noah 2.
私を殺しても永久期間なんです。それは。
That's from Motion Machine. Okay, let's read it real quick. So this, a device that can continue operation without receiving energy from external sources.
人類を未来永劫にわたってただ座して眺めているだけではない。人の幸福のために干渉してくる人工の神なのです。
Notice it was God's inventor, so to speak. As long as Noah 2 continued to exist, mankind would not perish, and the eternal utopia Notice sought would become real. However,
あんたなら近づけるんでしょ。
the serpent's body wriggled and writhed with noticing its grasp, lifting his body into the
それ
air.
ならあんたは神
We
だ。
are gonna use him. Notice was astonished, but soon enough, his face changed into an expression of pure agony. The serpent swung about his body with ease. Takumi shot a glance at Rimi. Their eyes met. Just what was Rimi feeling as she watched him? Reading her mind would have been effortless, and yet Takumi did nothing of the sort. It seems I was able to save you after all. Well, hopefully. He quickly averted his eyes. His gaze then shifted to the still humming Noah 2, the throne of God where none could stand foot. A cradle which showed naught but dreams of bliss.
ごめん。
He apologized to no one in particular.
僕は人類にとっての敵かも。
The eternal utopia this device would have brought, a future without conflict. Takumi would extinguish them with his own two hands. Was that right, or was it wrong? Takumi could not give the answer to that.
でも神話でもよくあるでしょ。神だって女絡みでうだうだやってる。だから僕も。
Will sacrifice the happiness of mankind out of love for a girl. Takumi, D-sword in hand, bent his arms in a giant arc.
破れ
You image. He thrusted it forth, just like a javelin. The colossal serpent of darkness charged straight ahead. With the bait known as Notice impaled by its tip, it flew straight toward Noah 2, an enormous serpent of antiparticles capable of terminating any known object. It had no will of its own, thus, it was not something that could have been warped nor distorted. With the greedy impulse to destroy, using Notice as the key, the delusional barrier was easily smashed to pieces. Okay. Oh. Bye-bye, Notice. Well, there goes his D-sword, I guess. I like those sound effects. Alright. Rain. Oh, is this like the very first scene we see at the beginning of the game? Oh, there had just been a huge explosion and its blast. Its blast blew my body away like it was nothing more than a rag doll. Okay, when had the rain begun to fall? Next thing I knew, I found myself lying here. Those eyes were always watching me. The stare pierced through the thick, pitch-black rain clouds and poured down on me like rain. Don't look at me. My body couldn't stop shivering, not from the chill of the rain, but rather the ice-cold rubble against my back. so terribly cold. A gaze pierced me from the heavens. Who it belonged to I couldn't say. As if to escape, I raised my head to look at the environment around me. There I saw a ruined city. There I saw despair. There I saw death. There I saw nothingness. Not a soul was there. Not a soul was moving. Not a soul was left alive. The only thing I could hear was the sound of rain continuing to pour. At this rate, everything, both the living and the dead, would it all be gently embraced and washed away? How nice it would be if all of this was just a delusion, but that didn't seem to be the case. I couldn't move my body. I could only move my eyes and neck, and even then just barely. I couldn't use that monstrous power from before. My body was shivering, but that was nothing more than a physiological phenomenon. It wasn't happening by my own will. I didn't want my body to tremble. If I couldn't move it freely, then it wasn't my body. Or maybe I've never had free will ever since I was born. Nobody knows exactly where the soul resides. Bearing that in mind, how could anyone say that there is a soul inside this body of mine? But then where exactly was I now? Was I really here? Was I anywhere at all? In the shattered world where all stood still, where all that could be heard was the rain of death, suddenly another sound echoed through it. A solitary existence began to emerge from the sea of nothingness. Who are you? It's Mimi. Is your skin so pale because it had been numbed by the chill of the rain? Or was it because you were already dead? And yet the girl wasn't shivering, and those eyes of her nearly hidden by her bangs. Yeah, this is just from the beginning. Don't look at me. They looked so terribly sad. They looked as if they held a hint of madness. They looked as if they reflected nothing. If she and I were the only ones left in the world, if we stared into each other's eyes like this for all eternity, would my world be reduced to the reflection in her eyes? Would her world be reduced to the reflection in my eyes? Being reflected in her eyes was me, only reflected in my eyes was her. When I thought of it that way, the world immediately seemed so much smaller. Suddenly, a flash of static reached my ears, one endlessly beautiful yet deeply discordant. She lowered her head and spread her arms wide, almost as if preparing to take off to soar high above the rain clouds, or as if trying to catch all of the falling rain.
あなたを見つめる妄想
From where I was on the ground, I couldn't see the expression on that lowered head of hers. Behind this thin veil of rain, just what kind of face are you making? So apparently earlier that was all just a delusion, so that was not real.
殺してあげる
Need to rest now. An angel? Were those dancing feathers of light blessing me, or... Ah, I see. I finally understood. She's going to use that to kill me. The girl slowly kneeled to the ground before my collapsed body. With her head still lowered, she gently took my own in her hands. I surrendered my body to her grasp. I was just relieved that she wasn't looking at me.
殺さなくちゃいけないの
In my ear, I heard a whisper, garbled by static. It was as beautiful as it was discordant.
ごめんね
Am I supposed to click here? Before it was just proceeding on its own. No, maybe not. Okay, there's nothing to apologize for. If I don't disappear, the other me, the real me, will die. So, that's why I'm okay with this. In fact, I'm really glad I get to be erased by you. It's not a bad end for a monster like me. I don't have any regrets. A warm warm, soft, gentle, sweet sensation. And miraculously, as if it were an anesthetic, the shivering of my body slowly began to die down. Salt breath tickled my cheeks. It smelled so sweet. Suddenly, I sensed something pressing against my chest. The large sword shield tore through my skin, bored into my flesh, weaved through my bones, and slowly sank through to the center of my body. But gifted with the anesthesia of her kiss, I no longer felt any pain. I had never imagined that I would get such a kind death. Just the thought of it broke my heart, leaving me on the verge of tears. Tongue-tied them, I looked past the girl's head and up toward the ashen sky where the rain continued to pour. Okay, well, I guess we got the first ending? Question mark. Our first ending. Yay. Credits. Wow. So yeah, I guess we died in the end here. Polygon launch. I like this music, it's nice. It feels very fitting. All the songs, Fake Me, A Will, Innocence, Nicholas Giano. So many songs. Debugging. Good smile company. Not Nintendo Switch version. I'm playing on, Steam, by the way. I guess, I talked about the Steam patch in some of the earlier streams, but... And then this is for the patch, I guess. And all of you giggle maniacs. But yeah, surely in one of the endings we'll get a happy end, question mark? Will there be a happy end for these characters? We'll see. Okay, Silent Sky reached ending A. Reached the Silent Sky ending. Okay. Extra CG library now available. Sound library, movie library. Shortcut. Okay. Well. Go to extra right now. 59, 50, reach endings. 1 out of 9. Okay, I see. I guess we can look at all of these now, huh? CG library. Cute. Man, so much stuff has happened in this game, for real. like these ones where you can see the D swords. They're cool. I do really like rimis. Okay. Oh, shortcut. Okay, and then I see you can just pick which chapter to start at here. Okay. I'll probably use like a spoil-free walkthrough or something to get the rest of the endings. But, I'm not sure if I should start that today or if I should just start that next time I stream this game. I think I might just do that next time. I may just end the stream here. Yeah. Probably take a while still, so, but yeah. Alright, I shall go now, but I hope y'all have a good rest of your day / night. Now let me end the poll. So, question was, which do you like most? And chocolate croissant got 60%, carrot cake 20%, banana bread 20%, and blueberry muffin got 0%. Yeah. For me, I don't know, I think it's tied between banana bread and chocolate croissant for me. I do like chocolate croissants a lot, but then sometimes I'm like, they're a little heavy, you know? So I feel like banana bread is always nice. Trying to have a nap now? I don't know. I'm tempted to. But I don't know if I actually will. I don't know. I really don't know. I might try to get some stuff done first, at least, and then I'll see. It was really nice. Yeah, I love banana bread. Banana bread. But yeah, alright. I hope you all have a good rest of your day / night. Thank you for watching. Bye bye. See you. Good afternoon. Bye bye.